Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Welcome back. We're gonna talk about today about the true cost of being a realtor. We see on Selling Sunset a lot of lies. We see on reality TV a lot of things that I do not agree with, because once you're in this, you're gonna really see that it's not easy money and you're gonna have to make an effort to make money. Number one, you're gonna go and get your license. You're gonna get that education. So it's gonna be a couple $100. I am a real estate agent in Puerto Rico, and I believe it was about $400 for my classes. They do give you the books, they try to teach you and prepare you as much as possible for the test. But do know that after the class, which I took on Saturday, so I had to drive all the way to San Juan, which was about an hour, take my classes from 9 to 12, and then drive back or do whatever. And that's even money going out the window because you're really not generating anything. So after that, you take a test. But I really recommend you to take the practice test. And the practice test was like a class on a Saturday. I think it was a whole day, and they really do prepare you for you to take the test and kind of give you a hint to what questions are going to come on the test. That's extra money. That's a couple $100 more, I believe. And then after that, you got to pay for the test. So hopefully you pass the test. So we're talking about a process that's going to take a couple months. So let's go back and recap. Test, that's money. Going out your way and going to classes, that's more money. Taking the practice test, that's money, and then you take the test. I think about, if I were to calculate everything really, I'd probably spend around $1,000. And when I say it's it means my parents. So thank you, Mom and Dad, for watching this, for helping in this career. After I do all of that, you finally take the class and you pass and you do all that. And I actually have my notes here because it was like, there's so much money going on. You decide that you are gonna join a brokerage. And this is the fun part, because not every brokerage is created equally. And here's what I'm trying to say. Some actually have monthly fees. The big ones that I know of have about $50 to $100. Whether you're selling or you're not selling, you gotta pay those bills to your brokerage. And there's also usually an initiation fee to that. So now you have not sold absolutely anything, but you are pretty much in debt. So welcome to real estate. After that, after you realize what exactly those monthly charges are, sometimes are there like office fee, transaction fee, like like a transaction coordinator fee. If they're giving you leads, sometimes they'll take a percentage out of that, so etc., etc. But then here's the tricky part. If you are a real estate agent, surprise, surprise, you're not a realtor. And those two terms are very often confused, but they're not the same thing. So if you do want to become a realtor, which is an association, you gotta pay more money. So you gotta pay, if you want to become like an MLS participant, you're gonna have to pay a fee there, and then a monthly fee as well as an initiation fee. For my board, I think my first section was about $400 a month, but I did that much later. I didn't become a realtor until much later. I was just a real estate agent, but that's another story. So now that you have become a realtor and you're about, I don't know, maybe $1,000 to $2,000 in, you're gonna start trying to make it out there. And once you have a client and a transaction has gone through, your brokerage is gonna come in and say, thank you so much, we're actually gonna take some money out of you, out of this paycheck. And this when commission splits are really important, and for you to know One, what is the average market sales price where you live or the neighborhood that you want to work in? And then secondly, what is this commission split? The commission split, I've seen it everything from like 50-50 to 100%. When I say 50-50, it's usually for those brokerage firms that are really big, and at the same time you might not be selling as much because you are new, so they are putting a lot of effort in you. They're probably putting a lot of coaching into you, so they want to see that return. And there's also a cap, I don't know if you want to say like a cap limit. So for example, if you were to spend $10,000-$16,000 out of that commission split, after that you either go 100% or you go to another commission split. So as I mentioned, and this might be something that we want to talk about in another video, but it's 50-50, 60-40, 70-30, 80-20, 100. And even those that are 100, they're not 100. There's usually going to be some fees involved around that, so absolutely you're not going to get that. So for my first transaction, I was a 60-40 with this company and didn't have any monthly fees, but there were other fees within the check. So for example, if I made $100,000, they would take $40,000, and at the same time, out of that $60,000 that I had left, they were gonna get some fees out of that. So transaction fees, office fees, whatever fees they were. I'm no longer in that company. It sounds shady, but nothing happened. It was just like, I just can't remember exactly what happened with that. Okay, so the most important part here, truly, is gonna be taxes. So out of that 100,000, it was a 60-40. You got, let's say, about 55 left because a lot of things, a lot of fees in the way. So out of those 55, you're gonna have to pay the government. And I suggest for you to take about 20 to 30% out of every paycheck and save it, because if not, your bill is gonna be very high, or you're gonna have to do quarterly estimates, which is actually, if you don't do them, at least where I'm from, you get a penalty. So do that, and then it's gonna be easier for you to understand. But yeah, so basically, if you're taking about 25-30% out of your paycheck, out of 55 or 50 that are left, you're really not making a lot of money. And you kind of have to counter gas, food, clothes, car maintenance fees, any lunches that you might be able to do, marketing, because you don't know really anyone and you need to get in front of people somehow, and cell phone and everything else, really, computer. A lot of these things are deductible, or they're tax deductible, but you're gonna have to talk to a CPA about that and really build a plan as to how you're gonna pay taxes. So not personal advice, just do your research. So just as you know, or for you to know, 100K in real estate is not really 100K. It's really not a lot. So you have to count on a lot of things, and if it's gonna make sense for you. Again, I hadn't done my research about the median sales price in my area, as well how much commission was around here. And I think really that's the first step you gotta take, because you gotta start calculating numbers and see if it actually makes sense for you to put all this effort, because you're not gonna see the first paycheck in months. It probably took me, my first paycheck was probably 6 months in, and it was very little amount of money. So it becomes a snowball once you start growing your clientele, and you'll make more money and more money, but you have to understand that it's a process. You're not gonna get rich very quick. But if you do get rich really quick, please come on my show. I would love to interview you and learn from you. So up to here, if you have any questions about this, about real estate in Puerto Rico, or anything else about becoming a realtor, please drop them down below. I'll do my best to answer them and guide you in the right direction. But just so you know, it is a dog-eat-dog world here. You just gotta prepare for it. You can do it, you just gotta prepare for it. Until next one, goodbye.